Hey, toy fans! Welcome to another installment of the Toy Lines podcast. I'm your host, Tom Romero. Ian is off this week. Happy Father's Day to all you toy collectors out there. We have a great show for you today. My guest is an unstoppable force in the comic collecting community with his new imprint, All Caps Comics. He's here today. He's graced us with his presence today to promote his new Cyberfrog toy line that begins July 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, the human sunshine himself, Mr. Ethan Van Sciver.
Hi,
Hello,
Toy Lines. Hello, Tommy. How are you? Great to be on your show. Thank you.
Oh, of course, my pleasure. Now, as I've been saying before, I'm a huge fan. I was back during the Hall of Heroes times with Cyberfrog. I mean, great stuff. I'm so happy to finally getting an action figure.
Yeah, the Hall of Heroes stuff was great. It was a good time for indies, for indie comics. Comics were selling so well. And anybody could kind of do a black and white comic and see some pretty decent sales. So Hall of Heroes was a bunch of teenagers. It was me, Matt Martin, Trent Kanuga, and right out of Elkhart, Indiana. I was the only one not in Elkhart, Indiana. I'm from New Jersey, but nice. Yeah, we started up just with this indie spirit that I think has stayed with us for the past nearly 30 years. We're back together again at All Caps Comics. It's really fun.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, we're all better as comic book collectors for it. I mean, look, a Dale Keown Cyberfrog.
We got Dale Keown.
How cool is that?
We got Dale Keown working at All Caps Comics. He's going to be doing a 20-page Salamandroid story. He's doing covers. This is a dream come true. Dale Keown was one of our idols in the 1990s when we were kids. We all copied his stuff. We thought he was like the bee's knees, as it were. We thought he was the greatest. And now he's working with us. He's doing some Cyberfrog stuff, possibly more stuff after that, maybe his own thing. We never know.
That's awesome.
But it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of opportunities in comics right now. Even though the comics market is shrinking, now is a great time for this kind of indie spirit to sprout up again, even though it's the other way around. And instead of like there being a lot of opportunity because there's just so much wealth in comics, there's no wealth in comics, but there's fertile ground to start planning and building new IPs.
Yeah, that's going to be the main health of the whole industry is just original concepts.
Yeah, we have to do that. Let's not forget, like, this isn't the first time that, the comic book industry has found itself needing a rebirth. We always look at Stan Lee and what he did in 1961, just because he wanted to do it his way. And that led to all of this. Well, now corporations own everything that he ever created. Stan Lee's no longer with us. So it really is incumbent on young, enthusiastic, new creators. You don't have to be young. Even though I think of myself as young, you don't have to be young. You just have to be enthusiastic and ready to generate new ideas. Definitely.
Now let's get into it. So congratulations. I finally get a Cyberfrog figure from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I can't believe how quickly this is happening. There's my guy Cyberfrog.
Yeah.
We just started crowdfunding this book, Cyberfrog Blood Honey, in 2018, hoping that using Indiegogo we could raise $8,000, which would have paid the printing bill, for a very small print run.
Sure.
And we ended up raising $538,000. I mean, wow. for our first comic book. We did a bunch of variant covers, and all in all, this book raised $1.1 million. That led to, well, we were pretty encouraged by that. Encouraged by that, what that said to us, and I think what it said to the rest of the creative independent community. A lot of professionals, a lot of people who were currently employed by these big corporations also saw what I was doing. They're starting to kind of move the same way. But because this did so well, we just thought, let's do it again. Let's do the sequel. And then let's start branching out and making our own toys.
That's awesome.
So we started doing that. This is well, first, that's what we're trying to do now. First, before we were able to do that, I started with this idea, like maybe we could make a small. I was thinking, remember the Smurf toys in the 1980s, the little PVC Smurfs?
Yes.
Okay, they were collectible, little PVCs. They were badly painted. They weren't posable, but there were a plethora of them, and people collected them.
Oh, sure.
And I just thought maybe we could make a Cyberfrog like that and do it as a giveaway. And let's just try, because we're charging. The great thing about crowdfunding is, you're charging $25. That's my lowest tier is $25. So the book itself might cost $5 or $6 to print. Right. The rest of that money goes to whatever I want it to go to. So let's make some more things. Let's make some freebies for the people who backed once this campaign blows up and becomes big enough to support the print run. So we started doing these PVC toys for free. And this was the first one. People are starting to receive them now. This is Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet's Cyberfrog PVC toy. I was just going to do a very cheap, kind of, here you go, here's a little toy. But because the campaign raised over $1.2 million, we did nice packaging for it. We went all out. And
yeah, it looks beautiful.
We
and then
also,
here's the sound. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Here's the Salamandroid. I mean, look at that tail. That's amazing.
Yes. So we decided to go ahead. I said, if I'm giving away Cyberfrog, maybe what we can do is we can make a Salamandroid and sell him. So it's like, you've got the Cyberfrog for free. Maybe we can get $25 out of you for a Salamandroid PVC. This was incredibly successful. These are currently being shipped to people. They're selling on. We sold these for $25. They're selling on eBay for $300. I think we undercharged our customers for these. The enthusiasm is pretty great for the Salamandroid PVC. This was a big learning experience for me. Making toys, making the PVCs. I learned how to. Well, I don't know everything there is to know, but I learned a little bit about how to make toys. And then just, I'm telling you, Tommy, the thrill of making your own stuff, of just dreaming it and putting it into reality, bringing it to reality, is awesome. I can't even tell you.
Could only imagine. And one of the incredible things is you're not even licensing stuff out. This is all you. This is self-funded. That's incredible.
Yeah. These are all my IPs. Obviously, we're just starting with Cyberfrog right now, but I've got another IP, Rainbow the Brute, that we're thinking about possibly doing. That's later. Let's Cyberfrog is right now. So, I love action figures. I've loved toys and action figures my whole life. I loved Transformers. We grew up poor, Tommy. I didn't have very many Transformers. My mom got me what was it? Was it the red minivan? What did my mom get me? Was it Ironsides? What was the name of the
Ironhide?
Ironhide, yeah. I wanted one of the race cars or the Lamborghini or something like that. My mom got me. Thanks, Mom. I wanted Jazz. My mom got me Ironhide, which practical.
Not bad.
Practical Transformer.
Yeah.
But I've loved all this stuff my whole life. So obviously I want to move into to making articulated action figures that can compete with Marvel Legends and then Todd McFarlane and all of the toys that I see on your shelf back there.
Sure. Now let's take a look at one of them right now. Now here is the modern version of Cyberfrog.
That's right. Yeah.
Now this thing is beautiful. I mean, I love that head with the stinger going right through it.
Yeah, I like that too.
This stuff is awesome. And now here's a side-by-side comparison, because you're also offering the classics version.
Yeah, like
the 90s. The
1990s version. So Cyberfrog was my first comic book, like you mentioned. It was at Hall of Heroes and then published by Harris Comics from 1994 to say 1998. And then I stopped and I worked for DC Comics for 20 years. It's kind of cool. The Cyberfrog comic book sort of maps that out. It's like Cyberfrog was around in the 1990s, and then he fell asleep for 20 years when the Vespus, the alien wasps came and stung him nearly to death. And then he wakes up now, right in time for when the new Cyberfrog book is coming out. He's been hibernating for 20 years.
Okay, so excuse me. So this isn't a soft reboot like I originally thought. This is just a continuation now.
Yeah, like it is a soft reboot. People who want to read the 90s stuff, it's a whole different. I had to go back and reread all of the stuff from the 1990s because we put it out in this hardcover collection.
Warts and all, I'm waiting for mine.
We're beginning shipping tomorrow. They're going out, so
Right.
I'm very excited about that. But I mean, you go back and you read it, and you can just see that. First of all, not only did Cyberfrog look a little bit different, he had a yellow tummy, he had the black spots. His head was shaped a little bit different. He had those kind of toaster oven knee pads, and the little wrist guards there.
Right.
He looked. I mean, he looked similar. He looked close to the way he looks now. I kind of tightened him up for the relaunch, but people just kind of said, "Hey, I'd like to see that action figure as well." And then they kind of said, "Well, what about this old stuff? Does this old stuff, did it happen?" It did, but it happened differently. When you read Warts and All, you'll be like, "How come Cyberfrog's mean? He's so mean to Heather, and he kills people." Because it was the 90s.
Yeah, it was a different time.
People in comics, I was reading Milk and Cheese. I was reading all these aggressively violent, funny comics, underground comics. So Cyberfrog he'll just kill people that annoy him, and that's, to me, that was funny when I was 21 and 22. Cyberfrog now is different.
Here's something I'm thinking is missing. Like maybe there's an alternate head in the future, but remember when he used to, well, obviously you'll remember, but when he used to shoot out his tongue and leave like a little bomb in people? That was awesome. I was like, that's got to be a head somewhere.
Why don't we do that? We should do like an alternate head where the tongue is sticking out or something like that. We could do that. That's a great idea.
Nice.
We'll see how this goes. I'm still getting ready to put the campaign together. So I'm making all little changes here and there and adding some things to the way the action figures look. But we wanted to offer both. We wanted to offer the 1990s version and the modern version of Cyberfrog. Nice. Just people seem to like the 90s version too. It's like people who are reading the current book go, "I think I like the 90s one a little better." I'm like, that's not what I wanted to hear, but okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I love them both, to be honest with you, but for some reason, I'm clinging on to that 90s version. And maybe it's because, he had different weapons in the 90s, not so much this. I don't know, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I hope I'm not insulting you, but yeah.
No. I created both of them, so both versions. Yeah, here's the without a leg, by the way. But here's the 90s version with his guns attached here.
That's awesome.
This is what we're endeavoring to make. So this is the Paint Master, what he's going to look like.
Very nice. You know what? Let's take a moment because I want to show our listeners and our YouTube subscribers your campaign video.
Okay.
So let's hit that.
Yeah, there's the Vespus. God, it's just exciting to me. I love the idea of independence rise. It's like now is the time. You don't have to just sit down and wait to work for, one of the big corporations and maybe one of the creations that you give to these big corporations is going to become a toy. Make your own stuff. Make it now. Crowdfunding makes that possible, as we're showing. It's not just me that's doing this. It's other people.
Oh, yeah.
Who are also, doing their own indie comics and making their own toys, making their own stuff.
Well, speaking of which, I know you're helping Kyle Ritter with Starblades. Mm-hmm. Now, is there any, I mean, God willing, this is, a success for you and, for your company. Could we possibly see like Starblades figures or Jawbreakers down the line?
Yeah. Yes. We're going to do it all. We're going to do, I mean, again, depending on how this campaign goes. Right. So, we've got 4 action figures that we're starting with. We're starting with 90s Cyberfrog. We're starting with modern Cyberfrog that you showed. We're starting with a Heather Swain main version. There's also going to be a variant version
Yes.
That's the main version of Heather Swain with her.
Right.
Heather Swain works at a fast food restaurant in the 90s as a teenager called Chicken Fry.
Right.
We just that's our, that's something that I made up. And so she's got her Chicken Fried t-shirt. These people are wearing clothing that's 20 years old.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you have to do. You got to, find clothing that's going to last. That other one that you just showed, that's Heather with her alternate head with her ponytail up. That's important because I think with her other head, her hair is down over her shoulders, so her head isn't going to be as movable.
Yes.
We put her hair up in a ponytail so that, she'll have more articulation on her neck and everything like that with her ponytail up. But she looks so mean. She looks like Priscilla Presley there.
She does, especially with the lip movement.
Yeah, she's right a little Elvis.
Exactly. And as I was telling my co-host Ian, I prefer this head because, like you said before, you can actually see more of Heather's face. It's more prominent than the long-haired version.
I complained at one point. I kind of said, there's a real problem because a lot of these action, like these characters, the imagery that you see from superhero comics these days, everybody looks so mad. The women look grumpy. And so I got a little bit of pushback from people. I got kind of roasted, but showing me the Heather Swain heads that look absolutely miserable. They look pissed off. Well, look, they've been surviving for 20 years, but I do listen to people. Let me just show you, if you'll share my screen for 1 second.
Oh,
we're premiering, this is going to be the third Heather Swain head that we're putting into production right now. She's going to have a nice happy smile because she's hanging out with her friends. And I pushed her hair behind her head so that, again, we're thinking about articulation and making sure that she can move a little bit better. So there you go.
That's a great smile. Yeah, that's a really nice, great smile right there.
Yeah, let's make some let's have some happy fun. It'll be like a tier. It'll be a stretch goal, like make Heather smile. Once we reach $200,000, make Heather Swain smile, and you'll get a Heather Swain smiley head with your Heather Swain action figure. So
very nice.
That's the plan.
I also want to bring up the big Q word, quality control. Now, here's what I keep telling people, because a lot of people are like, yeah, it looks cool, but how do I know, Ethan's going to keep his word? I was like, he's been making these books for over a year now. I mean, if there's a problem, Ethan's going to take care of it, hands down. It's kind of a slippery slope, supporting people on Kickstarter or even Indiegogo. And I'll be honest with you, there is a certain creator, I'm not going to name names, but I've been waiting 5 years for his book. And I used to be a super fan up until this Kickstarter.
I think I know who it is.
Yes.
I'm like 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing. We've been sending emails back and forth. And he's like, oh, it's coming. All these people have it and stuff. And then a friend of mine said he was selling copies of them at conventions.
I swear to God, you know what it is? It's fulfillment. Fulfillment is the biggest problem for people. And somebody like the professional who you're speaking of, somebody that's produced hundreds and hundreds of books.
Oh, yes.
So it's not printing. I mean, you get a lot of these kind of younger guys who are producing comics, and just getting their books printed is a challenge. Learning how to make a comic book. Obviously, that's not the problem here.
Right.
The problem is fulfillment, which is overwhelming for a lot of people, especially when you're working on your own. And, I sympathize. Part of the job when you go into crowdfunding, you have to change your whole way of thinking. You're used to putting out, if you're an independent guy, you put out multiple books every single year, maybe even monthly, because other people are handling the fulfillment for you. You send through the direct market and you give away 2/3 of your profit in doing so.
Okay.
But when you're doing crowdfunding and you're doing it the way that I do it and the way that, we ask, people in our community to do it, you fulfill it yourself by hand. And that might mean that you're only doing 1 or 2 campaigns per year, but you're going to profit a lot more. You're going to keep all of the money that you would have given to retailers, that you would have given to distributors. That's going to go into your bank account and to pay your creative staff. Right. So we want to see people do that. Now, for campaigns like mine, I mean, warts and all, we're fulfilling right now. 4,400 packages have to go out.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I have staff. I have people that I've hired who are going to help make the boxes, help stuff the boxes. We've got people who are making labels on stamps.com all day long, and just making sure that these packages go out clean and easy, and people are getting tracking numbers. And when you back one of my campaigns, you get an email when your package ships with a tracking number. We
Right.
ship first class, if not priority mail. We're starting to use UPS as well for some of our bigger, heavier packages to further locations and outside of the country. We recently even got our VAT tax number for shipping product overseas, England and Europe, just to save people a little bit of tax money over there. So we're aiming to be more professional. We're aiming to get our books out in a neat and orderly fashion. And your quality control is definitely a thing. When you're making toys and you're shipping thousands and thousands of toys, you can't always be sure that every toy that people get is going to arrive there undamaged. Sometimes they get damaged in shipping. Other times they're defective. We have shipped out 700 salamandroids.
Wow.
We have received 10 complaints from people who have said my salamandroid came broken. 10 out of 700, not bad.
No, not at
and
all.
we respond to that immediately. I mean,
See, but that's part of the confidence I have in you, because I've seen your YouTubes, and you've shared stories about people getting damages, and you take care of them like that.
They are our customers.
You can't say that about every creator. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I'm pushing this Cyberfrog action figure, to everyone, because I do have the confidence in you and your company, and I love these characters.
I thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to do a good job, and I'm working with people who have skill in crafting toys and in making toys and actually getting the toys finished.
Now, why not? Why not license? I mean, you have McFarlane, you have Super 7, even the Four Horsemen have a part on their company website that says, "Hey, if you have an idea, we'll create it for you." But you decided to take the reins all on yourself. I mean, even financially.
Well, we're still young, I mean, I'm not saying that we will never one day. Todd McFarlane started out doing his own stuff, and then over time, once his company grew, he started to license sports figures and things like that. And now he's doing DC Comics, Batman toys. He's doing all the DC stuff. It's been 30 years for Todd. We just started. We're in our first year actually of toy production and shipping toys to people.
Yeah, but wouldn't you find it easier to license out to, say, like a Super 7 company instead of taking on that burden all on yourself?
Oh, you mean have somebody else do Cyberfrog toys?
Correct.
Well, there's also a political component to what we're doing. Most people who are fans of my show and who understand what All Caps Comics is and Comicsgate understand that the way things are being done this way is because at some point in the last 4 years, conservative Republicans, I don't want to talk about politics, but conservative Republicans like myself got blacklisted from comics.
Right.
And there's a very sadly, but this is true, there is a group, there's an activist group of people who want Republicans and people like me to not be able to make what I make and distribute it through normal outlets.
Okay.
Because of this situation, we have to kind of find ways to make toys and make comics that don't allow what happened to Gina Carano, for example, to happen to us. So licensing out Cyberfrog to another company would make that company a target for harassment by these people. So I try not to do that. I try to be happy and just say, I'm going to be doing all of this myself. If people say, where is the Cyberfrog cartoon? There may be one, and I am going to make it. I will do everything myself. And look, it used to. I see myself as a pioneer. I see myself as I see the industry before me, and what we're discussing here, the independent comics and toy collectible industry as the Wild West. You know, it's like there wasn't indoor plumbing back then. There wasn't, you know, there weren't big skyscrapers. Burly, bold men like myself to go west and build these things. They had to build these things. You had to build these towns, build these communities, and build these places where business and industry could grow. If I'm not going to do it, and if I'm going to palm that responsibility off onto some other company, even if it weren't for these activists who who can't cancel culture essentially, then who will? Who would do it? You know, whose responsibility is it? I mean, at some point, a lot of people gifted me with millions and millions of dollars because I came out and said, here's my Cyberfrog comic, and I'm not going to be canceled. I'm going to continue to do what it is that I was put here on this earth to do. Make entertainment, make fun toys, and fun stories for people. So it's got to be me. Gotcha. It's got to be. And then other people can come to me eventually, you know, and I will provide a safe outlet for people who have fear of cancellation. Because ultimately, this isn't anything that you should worry about, Tommy. None of these circumstances should be in your mind. You shouldn't think, is it going to be okay? Am I going to be able to support this creator, this artist, if their politics don't align with somebody else's? That should not be the concern of a customer, of somebody who just wants to buy a frog toy or a frog comic. So I feel like this is my job. I feel like this is what I need to do on behalf of myself, my family, and hundreds of other people who find themselves in similar circumstances. I love it. I'm happy to do it.
Great. I love hearing that. I'm glad. I mean, and it shows in your product as well. I mean, the artwork has always been fantastic, but now it's like you've taken it to the next level. You know, we're getting action figures. Now, this is. I hope
we are. We don't know that, Tommy. We have to crowdfund it. We have to crowdfund it. July. First of all, if you would put the link to the email notification. If anybody's watching this and wants to support this campaign, is looking forward to backing these action figures, which I promise are going to be incredibly competitive quality. These will be as good as, if not better than Marvel Legends, as good as, if not better than many of Todd McFarlane's toys. And we're just going to keep pushing. We're just going to keep making great stuff. If this interests you, if what I'm saying interests you, we have a email notification sign up link that I hope will be below in the description.
It will.
And put your email in there so that I can tell you when the campaign launches. But even if you don't do that, it's going to be pretty easy to know when we're launching this campaign. This is all about independence, independent creator pride, and we're launching it on American Independence Day, the 4th of July. We're going to launch these action figures. We'll see if it works. I don't. It's a lot of money that we're asking for.
I can just imagine. I mean, tooling, paint apps, deco. I mean, you're literally spending a fortune, and it's not like you're just putting out one figure. I mean, you have a full wave, basically.
Stupid. I'm so dumb.
No, that's incredible. You know what that is? That is leadership right there. You know, that's what's missing from comics and pop culture right now. You know, Todd McFarlane was a pioneer back then, and look what he's achieved. Like you said, you know, now you're doing it for the indie version, and it's great. I mean, we're getting characters that, you know, let's be honest, Cyberfrog was always an indie book, even at Harris. You know, very few indie action figures ever made it out. You know,
especially not now. Now, exactly. There isn't going to be anything like this unless we make it happen, and that is us. The money didn't disappear. You know, I mean, the fans didn't disappear. The money didn't disappear. People just closed their wallets. I think there's something about what's going on in comics right now that people just aren't enjoying, and for whatever reason that is, people are just walking away from mainstream comics, and the indies. The comic industry has become so small that the indies just aren't there like they used to be. There's Image, you know, a lot of people can go to Image. That's a good place to go.
And now IDW with Last Ronin.
Oh my God, those the Turtles.
Yeah.
Okay, if we want to talk about licensing something, I'll take those Turtles.
Nice. Yeah.
Send them my way. When you know, everybody's done with them, send them my way. I'll take the turtles. But yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you know, so we have to do this. We have to, you know, we have to make these toys by ourselves so that the money didn't dry up, that people just aren't spending it. They have it. Let's give them a product that'll make them open their wallets again. Yeah. That's my vision. That's my dream.
Yeah. Let's look at your vision real quick. So, all right, we're going to start off with the main man himself, or main amphibian himself, Cyberfrog. Now, how many points of articulation are we looking at here?
Gee, offhand, I'm not really sure. I didn't count them. This is
I'm sorry.
This is an early version of the toy. I know that there's a ball joint pivot, you know, in his shoulder. His head turns side to side, but it comes off to, you know, put other heads on there. Okay. He's got an ab crunch there. He's got double jointed knees. He's got a little twist at his bicep and at his thigh. Mm-hmm. We articulated each one of his toes, and you know, I guess his elbows, nice. Wrist pivot.
So just modern day articulation.
Yeah, people started saying we need ankle rockers, and I didn't know what that was, and so I went and you know, we added ankle rockers. That's you know,
right here.
Yes,
that's an ankle rocker. Yeah.
Yeah, people said that's really important, and I said, well, then we'll do it. You know, this is our first action figure, so I think we're doing okay. I think our articulation is competitive. It's
very
not
much so.
Yeah, it's not where we're going to end up. You know, wave 2, you know, we're going to have learned an awful lot from wave 1. We'll have another frog in wave 2, another heather, but mostly what we're going to be making, if we're successful, an 18-inch version of Salamandroid, 18 inches tall.
Could you imagine? Well, Super 7 just put out a from Silverhawks, the Monstar. He's about 11 inches right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to crush that.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, to scale with Cyberfrog, Salamandroid there. That's the initial rough sculpt of him, but we're going to super articulate him. We're going to have his mouth open. He'll have a fire-breathing, eye light up kind of effect. We're going to spend some money. Salamandroid is going to be a very, very nice toy. We're going to make Rumblebee, one of Cyberfrog's enemies. Lily, we're going to make Heather's daughter.
Wow.
So wave 2 will be fun, but got to get through wave 1, and I'm praying that we can do it. I feel like we can. Signups have been pretty good to start out with, you know. So,
and let's take a look at some other characters in this wave. So right here is the Vespus, and now that's a fully articulated stinger tail.
Yeah. Right now it's got 2 hinges in it so that the abdomen there can sting. It can go forward and it can go backwards, just like an actual wasp's abdomen can.
Very nice.
All of the legs are articulated. I would have liked to have articulated the jaws, but we weren't able to do that this time. The wings are articulated. You know, all of that. It's a really, really nice toy. I think kids especially are going to love that.
Sure. Well, I was even telling Ian the other day, instead of maybe having this Vespus be like the queen, if you will, and then making smaller ones as army builders.
Well, that's a scout. That is not the queen. And you're going to find that, you know, in the book, you're going to learn about Vespus society. You're going to get a little taste of that in Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet. You're going to see that, first of all, they're very smart. Cyberfrog thinks they're dumb, and that's because he can't understand their language yet. Then he realizes, no, they're incredibly vicious and very smart, and they know just what they're doing. And so they, you know, there's a community aspect to them. They live in this feudal kind of system where there are lords and peasants and, you know, all of this stuff. So you're going to you'll see many other different species of Vespus along the way.
Very nice.
We'll make toys of all of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The more the merrier. And now let's take a look at Heather. Now, we already discussed her hair, but this is a beautiful figure.
Yeah, I was happy to see that people saw Heather and said that's the best female action figure I've seen in a long time, which pleased pleased me. I mean, that's the original sculpt came from a fellow, just a fan. This is kind of the way we work. I just listen to my fans. And this guy had done a digital sculpt of Heather that was so beautiful. And I just said, I want to buy that off of you. So I wrote him a great big check. We broke it down into an action figure. It's going to be released as a statue also later this year.
Oh, yeah.
We had him do a little bit of work, create another head. We got another sculptor who just did that smiley head that we showed.
Okay.
There's the statue. Yeah, that's
yes. Yes. And now, are you still going to keep these options, or are we narrowing them down?
No, everything's there. We've got for the action figure, you're going to be able to get the machete. You're going to get a baseball bat with like spikes on it. You're going to be able to get the shotgun and the hatchet. You're going to be able to get a handgun.
Wow.
I think those all come with the Heather action figure. And those larvae there are going to come with the Vespus scout.
Cool. Very nice.
I love that sign that says "Local Honey." That really should be her T-shirt. Local Honey. It's so cool. If you live in you live in the Pine Barrens, you see those signs everywhere. People are collecting honeybees and then getting their honey and selling their honey, the local honey. And Heather is a local honey. So, and then also, she's full of blood, which can be turned into honey to feed the Vespus. It works on 3 different levels, Tommy.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, you've just recently announced a variant for Heather Swain. Is there a certain way people can order this one, or how's that going to work?
So I'm pretty sure. And the reason why we made the variant was because we have a huge collector base. People want to collect things associated with Cyberfrog. We found that to be very true, happily so. But in order to sell more Heather Swains so that we can meet our funding goal, we've created this variant where she's wearing a white shirt with the All Caps Comics logo. I think they're going to be released this way. I think anybody who buys one of each of the toys, like all 4 of the toys, which is $195, I think that's what we're planning, will be able to purchase a Heather Swain variant toy. That way we'll be able to keep them kind of rare, a lower print run, what would you call them? Not print run.
Yeah, same concept. Just same concept. Lower run, yeah.
A lower production run.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, it's something for collectors. The All Caps Comics Heather Swain variant,
See, that's awesome. And then you also have this guy right here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right behind me. Yeah, the sculptor of the Cyberfrog toy went ahead and made that for me and sent it over to a fantastic painter.
Wow.
And so this is a 1-to-1 scale, 1 out of 1 in existence. And I said, boy, I bet we could actually sell a few of these, because everybody who saw it went, I want one of those. And I went,
sure.
They'd be expensive to make because they're hand painted and everything.
Wow.
I said, how much would it cost to make 10 of these? And I got a bill for $19,000. And I went, so I'd have to sell them for $2,000 each. I just don't think I'd be able to do it. So I guess not, but oh well, I've got one. And maybe someday we'll do it.
Nice. Now let's talk about packaging. Now you're an artist, so I'm sure you have some great ideas for some designs.
Well, yeah.
Are you looking? Oh, excuse me. Are you looking towards like the Spawn Kickstarter with that clamshell box, or something resealable?
Listen, if people give me enough money, I will make something like that. Todd McFarlane's campaign raised $3.4 million and had 26,000 backers, which is, I must tell you, as somebody who is a crowdfunder, that's enormous. That is incredible. That's extraordinary. And I, when I received his toys, because I ordered all 3 of them too, they were beautifully packaged and set a standard. Is it the standard? I think it is for anybody who makes $3 million. If I were to make that much money, we would kick Tommy. If I were to make that much money, we would kick ass. Like, we would do amazing stuff with the packaging. Anticipating a slightly less profitable than $3.4 million.
Well, it is your first outing.
it's our first outing.
Yeah.
Let's give it some time. We're looking at options for packaging. One thing that we're talking about doing is including an exclusive Cyberfrog comic book, which would be probably helpful. I think it would encourage people. And then figuring out, do we want to do something like what Todd did, if possible? If not, do we want to do a Marvel Legends style box? On the cheap end, but the practical end, we could just do the bubble on the card. Which would work for all of the figures except for the Vespus, which is going to go in a box no matter what. It's too big. And we'll see. I will. The thing about these, the thing about creative situations is that sometimes you don't have the answer right away. The answer becomes inspiration and practicality kind of blended together. You go, what can I do? And then once you know what you can do, something just hits you out of the blue that's amazing, that's brilliant, and you got to wait for that answer to come, because I would like the packaging to be representative of this comic. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be collectible. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Here we just took the honeycomb, the Vespus hive material, and put our characters inside of it. I don't want to repeat that. I want to do something different this time.
Resealable.
That was amazing. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I'd never seen that before. You can just open it and reseal it.
Yeah, this one is from the Four Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
They're Mythic Legions figures. So they all come with resealable, which I think is a great, because you're always going to have those certain collectors that want to play with it, but yet it's going to look great on somebody's wall or shelf. So, please keep that in mind.
Yeah, I love those guys. The Four Horsemen. I've been looking at their campaigns. They're making some beautiful, incredible toys, and they're making. I don't quite understand how they're doing it. It's like the second biggest campaign was a Four Horsemen campaign, and correct. I think they had about under 2,000 backers, and yet they made $900,000. And I looked at how they did it, and they have like 18 different action figures.
Yeah.
How do you?
I mean, they've been in the industry for a long time. They actually started at McFarlane and then branched off. So there is, if you follow this stuff very closely, you can tell, you can really tell actually, what's a Four Horsemen figure as opposed to something that isn't. So they've built their legion of fans along the way.
Yeah, I would love to talk to them, because, what I've found is there's a minimum order quantity. So, if you're offering 18 different toys, it just seems like, and you've only got 2,000 backers.
Right.
And usually the minimum order quantity to get a high quality toy made is about 10,000 units. I don't understand the math, Tommy. I don't understand how they're doing that.
Yeah.
Unless they have a warehouse of toys, or they're just paying for the production, and then they probably sell the toys through Big Bad Toys or something like that, the extras.
Right. That was my next question. So once you get this campaign funded, what is your plan for mass market retail? Like, do you still want to do the Amazon, or will you be using someone like Big Bad Toy Store?
Yeah, Big Bad Toy Store did kind of reach out to us and say they wanted to do Cyberfrog. Awesome. Yeah, so we'll talk to them. But again, the same situation arises where every time we work with anybody, they're going to be targeted by activists who say he voted for Trump. He's responsible for. He invaded the Capitol on January 6th. I didn't. But he's with those guys. So anyway, that's something that I think about. I got to think, am I going to make them a target for harassment? And I'm sure that makes these people happy, that's a consideration that I have to make. But frankly, we can just sell them ourselves.
Okay.
I can take, we can easily sell that many toys ourselves through Amazon or eBay, our eBay store, and people know where to find us. And as long as you can market and let people know, as long as you have a voice out there so that you can let people know where to go, here's the link, you could sell endless amounts of product by yourself. and keep all the money. You just have to ship it.
Yeah. Well, I say like it's a simple thing, but
that's how we grow.
It's getting tougher and tougher for shipping.
Yeah, but again, what that does is it necessitates us having to hire people, and hiring people means that we need to grow our business. Having more stock that's going to sell and make us 4 times what we paid for it, and we didn't even pay for it; backers paid for it. That's the amazing thing about crowdfunding. We're able to make this investment by getting pre-orders from people. That just means we need a bigger warehouse. We need more space. We need more vehicles. We need to grow. And that's how these little mom and pop businesses start out. Eventually, Dale Keown, who's becoming a good friend of mine now, sent me a song that became the theme song of my YouTube show, Comic Artist Pro Secrets. It's a band called Hell Yeah. And the song basically is called Be Undeniable. And the chorus says, if you're tired of being denied, be undeniable. So this is advice that I would give people in my situation, where it's like, at some point, we're going to grow so big and we are going to be so popular that we're going to be undeniable. And there is no amount of harassment that's going to stop people from wanting to sell Cyberfrog product, because it's good and people want it. But again, that requires a lot of work on our end. We need to make sure the toys are excellent, the comics are excellent, all the product that we make is collectible, fun. We're creating enthusiasm every single day. That's on us to do that. But, we do have to create an environment where people desire our product so much that nobody can stop us.
Awesome. Very nice. Here, let's run your video again real quick, just to give people a heads up.
When the monster you created comes back to bite you in the ass. What I say in this disclosure? What? Y'all are stupid, you get shoulder. Cause your plan was to get over. Since the days of Victrola, all the years of straight lies and depriving. Now we're pushing to take a dive and conniving.
Great song.
Great product.
It's all about being independent.
When they do the work, they know we pay up. And I see the labels getting set to bust.
That's right. Oh, by the way, and that's part of it. They showed that really quickly in the video. I don't think I mentioned it. People who do sign up for the email notification list, we're going to make an extra little package of the bonus item. It's Cyberfrog's hand holding a chicken leg, and then a bucket of his favorite fried chicken, the chicken fried chicken. Awesome. So that's going to come in a special separate little package for people who signed up for email notifications and then went ahead and backed the campaign. You're going to get these little collectible packets of extra accessories. We think people will like that.
Very nice. And now, do you have any stretch goals in mind, or are just one person pays for it and they're all in?
Okay, so stretch goals, we're going to, first of all, I thought about this a bunch of different ways. I was just like, should I just do Cyberfrog and then, we'll try to do the other ones later? And I went, that is cowardice speaking. That is a loser attitude. We're going to do all 4 of them at once. Everything or nothing. We're going to get it done. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, well, boo-hoo. We're going to try to get this to work. The second thing is, when it comes to stretch goals, we're going to start with, this is the basic figure. You're going to get a basic Heather, basic Cyberfrog. And then as we meet various stretch goals, everyone, if we get to 200,000, everybody gets another set of hands. Get to 220, everybody gets the headshot, the extra heads, weapons pack across the board, until we get up to where we need to be. So I guess that's the way it's going to be with the stretch goals. But I think we're going to get everything. I've even made a melting human being turning into like a dead body, turning into Vespus hive. For the maggots to crawl out of, the Vespus larva as a final stretch goal. I think we're going to get everything. I've made another hand cannon for Cyberfrog. I made a Heather Swain hand. She's holding a big gulp soda from whatever version of 7-Eleven is in the Cyberfrog universe.
Very nice.
All of that stuff. We're going to have lots and lots of extra bonuses for these figures so that when you get them, they are packed with optional trade outs and accessories. And those will all be stretch goals, but I think they're going to be easy stretch goals to hit, anticipating typical Cyberfrog success. But again, you never know. I don't know. I can't count on everybody to come support me every single time. Just because they always have doesn't mean they always will, Tommy. You can't take your customers for granted. That's what I've learned.
Very true. Very true. And see, that's exactly why I support men like you, because your first concern is the customer. Yeah, stuff will get paid for, but we got to keep our people happy or else they're not coming back.
Yeah.
So,
and my wife was just like, so we're pushing to get Warts and All out at the same time that we're pushing to get Starblades completed. Starblades is almost completed fulfillment, and we're shipping PVC toys out. She's like, you're doing these 3 things simultaneously. Why?
Wow.
And I'm like, because we need to keep our customers happy right now. We're about to launch an action figure campaign, and now is the time that we need to create a fireworks show of just fulfillment. People getting packages, people getting seeing how good our product is, getting the things that they paid for, so that we can wipe a few of these campaigns away. They're fulfilled, and here comes the biggest one that we've ever launched, the biggest campaign we've ever even tried to launch.
Wow.
So work hard. We work really, really hard around here,
and it shows. I mean,
my
look,
beard turned white.
I know people are like, oh, Ethan the bully, he's just, kissing ass. And I'm really not. I'm a fan, granted, and I may be fanning out right now, not really professional, but I've seen the work you've put in. I've seen the support you're giving to your customers and the product. I mean, it's a fantastic product. Especially if you're a 90s kid, that misses those comics. I mean, I'm looking forward to Trent Kanuga's Creed, who did have actual action figure back in the day.
That's going to print right now. Trent Kanuga. Well, we had a little issue. Trent, we were going to give him a spine on his books, and he said, I want staples. He's like, I want this to just look like a quote from Trent. I want it to look like a rad comic book. I love that. You want it to look like a rad comic book. It needs to have staples. Okay, we'll do whatever you want. People are, I don't know. There's something about independence. It's just a breath of fresh air. Really is nice.
Sure, I bet. All right, I'm going to ask you a couple of weird Cyberfrog questions. Now, when you draw Cyberfrog, I remember reading this back in the 90s. Do you still hear Dennis Leary's voice coming out of Cyberfrog?
Sometimes, yeah. Dennis Leary would be great. One of the Jerky Boys would be good. Hey, what's up there, Flapjack? That kind of a voice, the East Coast kind of thing. Yeah, Dennis Leary would be great, though.
Yeah, definitely. And now this isn't Cyberfrog's first time actually being an action figure. Playmates Toys actually approached you.
Yeah, Playmates Toys, we were being represented by Surge Enterprises, and they were the guys who got the Turtles made into toys, and they struck a deal with Playmates Toys back in 1997, and Playmates Toys did make a sculpt of a Cyberfrog figure, which I do still have. It never went into production, but it was going to match the Turtles line that they were also producing. So, again, I've shown it a few times on live streams and people want it. They want it. I might possibly, should this become successful, if we can take another step after this, let's put that out. Let's put out the what would have been the 1990s Playmate Cyberfrog toy. We'll even make a parody of what the packaging would have looked like. But we've got the sculpt. We can easily take it, adapt it, and put it out the way it would have been had it come out in 1997.
That's cool. Now,
we can do anything
for other waves. Well, how about this is my next question. So for other waves, how about this frog armor? Yeah. I just love that symbol right there.
Yeah, Cyberfrog's armor adapts to situations that that it calls for. So we're going to do stuff like that too. You're going to see Cyberfrog adapt into something in Wreck Planet, we have all these different opportunities to make various variant Cyberfrog toys, and we will if we're able to.
Gotcha.
We hope to.
Very nice. And yeah, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but can we talk quickly about the unicorn heads
Yeah.
that are coming out from Rainbow the Brute?
Yeah. Rainbow the Brute is it's my current comic book campaign that's up on Indiegogo. And of course, one of the things about it is that we want to bring back the 80s. We want to make fun of the girls' toy products of the 1980s. That's what the whole campaign is about. But also just the stuff that you might, remember being around in the 80s. Everybody had these kind of pencil toppers that smelled like strawberries.
Right.
We're going to make our own. Do you have that to show?
I'm looking for it right now. I ran out of questions.
In Rainbow the Brute's land, in his world, unicorns are rats. I mean, they're not beautiful, majestic creatures. They're annoying. They're cutesy looking, but they poke you with their horns. They go where they're not wanted. They're pests. So Rainbow the Brute routinely kills unicorns, eats unicorns. As the tagline goes, choke slams unicorns and stuff like that. So we decided to make pencil toppers of severed unicorn heads that smell like strawberries. And they, it's going to look very nice. They're bloody, vicious toys. They're in production right now.
Awesome. Now, yeah, let's throw this up there. Now, these aren't the exact heads, but here is Ethan's next campaign. Rainbow the Brute.
Yeah, there you go. So there's a unicorn head. They're going to look pretty much like that. He's roasting one on a spit there with his son. His son is named Shiro Pocket, related to one of the Polly Pocket toys. That's his mom. I can't wait until we get more toys. We've got a Rainbow the Brute sculpt ready to go in case I want to make a Rainbow Brute action figure. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that yet, but we've got the sculpt ready to go. All I have to do is pull the trigger and we'll do it.
Awesome. Now, quickly, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say you get your funding. Mm-hmm. Cyberfrog figures go into production. When do you feel you can do fulfillment?
It's going to take 8 months.
Okay.
So, what's going to happen is I think we're going to know, judging for how these campaigns go. Here's the thing. I did all the legwork already. So, obviously, it's not like we're starting from scratch. I'm not saying, this is my dream. Here's a drawing of a toy I want to make. I've been working on these for a year.
Okay.
So to put them into production, tooling, and everything, and before they're in our warehouse, it's going to take 8 months. Okay. So we're going to know in the first 24 hours if this is a go or not, as these campaigns go.
Right.
First 24 hours of any campaign, you're going to get, more than a third of your funding. Sometimes half of your funding comes in the first 24 hours. So we'll know if it's a success, and if it is, I'm just going to say go. Do it. Start it right now. Start the clock right now. Let's get those toys into production, and we'll have them February. I don't know, what is that? About February of next year.
Okay, awesome, very nice. Well, Ethan, thank you for your time. Thank you for all your hard work. You got a fan in me, so I'll support you no matter what. So I hope that means something to you.
It sure does. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Great to talk.
Yeah, you're welcome to come back anytime. The campaign is the Cyberfrog action figure from Indiegogo. Sign up now and you can get the frog chicken fist and one amazing figure, And that's not all. Please go to your local comic store or Ethan's eBay store. Purchase a Cyberfrog comic, show your kids, I mean, this isn't a comic that's, overly, graphic, not overly.
Well, it is,
but you don't have to, it's not going to scare children is what I'm getting at. You can give this to a child and, he's going to be curious and be like, oh, cool, frog,
I
I'm
hope
thinking,
so. Yeah,
you know,
it's
you can actually sit down, take some time out of your day, sit down with your child, and go through a Cyberfrog comic. I mean, action packed. Kids love action. Kids love weird amphibian stuff.
yeah,
I mean,
vicious
look how cool.
wasps. Cyberfrog. It's available on our eBay store, and we've got different variants of it. This is the Chromium edition of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. You can get this and T-shirts and everything else on our eBay store. And definitely thank you guys. Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet is on its way.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. And warts and all.
Yes, Warts and All is on its way. It is going to begin shipping on Monday.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ethan, for your time. And please help him out. Let's get some Cyberfrog figures. I'm Tom Romero. Play with your toys. I'll see you next week.